Okay, this is chapter 2 of the Art of Public Speaking. And this chapter is about ethics, the ethics and public speaking, the ethics of public speaking, the ethics and public speaking. First of all, it talks about the importance of ethics. Ethics deals with issues of right and wrong in human affairs. And it is an important topic because there are ways that we can treat one another that are fine, but there are also ways that people treat each other that are not right. They are wrong, and we can say that from a humanitarian point of view, or if we go into religious areas, there are typically good religious implications as well. Some guidelines for ethical speaking. You want to make sure that your goals are ethically sound. A number of years ago, I had a student who signed up to do a speech on drugs, and of course, I'm assuming he's going to get up and talk about the dangers of drug use. He got up to give a speech, and he said, "Today I'm going to talk about using drugs. The thing that you need to know about using drugs is this." He said, "Drugs are good, so some people don't know how to use them." I was going, no, we cannot do this. You cannot give a speech that is even potentially harmful to someone in your audience. Another area of being ethical as a public speaker is to be fully prepared for each speech. If you come into a speech and you're not fully prepared, you can waste your time, the teacher's time, your fellow students' time, and that's not fair. That's not ethical to them. We have to be honest in what we say. We cannot mislead somebody in something that we say or do. That's unethical. And yes, that's problematic. We say, well, a lot of politicians are unethical public speakers, if that's what you might say. And you would be absolutely right. There are many politicians who have no sense of ethics. They have no qualms about either telling us a lie or just misleading us in some way. And that's a very unfortunate thing. It is unethical. And it's one of my pet peeves. I don't like being lied to. We have to avoid name calling and other forms of abusive language. We talked about this a little bit at the end of chapter 1. We have to treat other people equally and fairly. It is not acceptable to treat other people as if they're somehow beneath us. Here's a reality check for you. Everybody you've ever met in your life, everybody you've interacted with knows whether you regard them as equal. You say, oh, well, no, they don't know. I look down on them. Guess what? They do. Everybody does. And it's a very important thing. Another section under ethics is plagiarism. We just have to have having used our own original thoughts and our own original things. There's a global plagiarism where you just take everything. There's patchwork plagiarism where we take sections of something and we sort of build a speech out of other people's words, and that's not the right way to do it either. And there's what we might call incremental plagiarism, where we take quotes and then we paraphrase them. What we really should be doing is quoting somebody and giving credit for them. Instead, what we're doing is we're paraphrasing it and then pretending that we wrote it, and that's unethical, purely unethical. We cannot do that. They have to be very careful. Plagiarism is so easy because of the internet. But understand this: whatever you can find as a student, right, as a teacher, I had a student who told me that she had read something. Honestly, it just didn't sound like her language. I said, well, I kind of hinted about it. This sounds like, maybe you borrowed a little more than you intended to from someone else. And she said to me, oh no, I wrote the whole thing. So I went down and I found her speech word for word from beginning to end. And I walked in the next day and I put it on the table in front of her. And the first thing that happened was all color draining from her face. I felt bad because I thought she was going to pass out or something. Then she turned about 5 shades of red. And so she was extremely embarrassed by that. Can't do that. Don't do that. Some guidelines for ethical listening. We need to be ethical speakers, but we also need to be ethical listeners. One is to be courteous and attentive. We should not be doing other things. We should not be, we're in a classroom and someone's giving a speech, and I've seen students who were playing on their cell phone, and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if there's a little sign here that I can't see that all my students can see that says he's stupid. But for some reason, students tend to think I can't see things that are very visible, that are very obvious. I was actually sitting in the back of a classroom one time, and a student was playing with a cell phone and had it right down in front of me, like this. And I interrupted, and I said, well, just for those of you who are doing something with your cell phone, I know that you're doing something with your cell phone, and if you don't stop, it's going to really hurt your grade. It's already hurt your grade some, it's going to hurt it worse. And this student very, very carefully, very slowly took his hand down and, or his or her, I can't remember which one it was, and put their phone down on the floor or in their bag or whatever it was. One thing you want to do is avoid prejudging a speech. Sometimes it's easy to say, well, I've heard something about this before. Well, you may have heard something about it before, and then hearing it again, you may learn something new. Avoid prejudging the speaker themselves, whoever it may be. We can learn from anyone. Don't prejudge the speech. Don't prejudge the speaker. We want to maintain a free and open expression of ideas. The very real factor goes into having an open mind. We can have an open mind. We can listen to speeches without it necessarily affecting us. I've heard a lot of speeches that I disagree with. Many, many, many speeches, hundreds, if not thousands of speeches, and that have not changed where I stand on certain important values. And so we do need to have an open mind. That is the ethical thing to do. That is the end of chapter 2.